is a great day to be a Team Vitality fan. They are the first EMEA team to make Masters Bangkok. I'm your host, Yingsu. I got CNED with me here, and we're joined by the coach of Team Vitality, Faded. Massive congratulations. I know this means a lot to the boys on stage, but for you as well. I feel like you just got here. You know, you just got here. You got to leave again and go to Thailand, but you're not complaining, are you?
No, not at all, not at all. I'm glad that the boys pulled through really strong too, very convincingly at the end over here. Obviously, the job's not done yet. I think we definitely still have one more match, and I think the boys, you know, they deserve a break. So hopefully afterwards we get the boys in motion. But yeah, no, very proud of them.
You won that title though. You won that title.
Yes.
The trophy I heard looks really nice as well. The trophy looks nice. But CNED, did you expect Heretics to kind of be dominated so much on that second map?
I think it was like because of the first map, like which they get comeback from 10-8, and I think starting a map like 4-0, like losing bonus, I think affect them a lot.
The mental game.
Yeah, mental game. After that, like everything. So easy for Vitality, probably.
It was gone. But Heretics, of course, are not eliminated. They will have another chance tomorrow in the lower bracket. Now, here's the thing, though, Faded. We spoke a little bit here on the desk about the impact and the underappreciation the community has for the supportive players. Now, you've got two of the best in the league in Kicks and Trek. So talk me through, you know, why they also deserve to be in the conversation when it comes to Vitality being a super team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone kind of talks about, you know, Les, Dirtge, and Safe. You know, they definitely are very storied players. But I'm going to actually start off with Kimmy Kicks first. The growth that I've seen and the confidence from him from even during the early offseason until now, he's always adjusting. And one of the biggest things is how he works with all the other players. Any situation, anytime he's in a position with another teammate, he's always making the decision to prioritize them and figure out ways to support them and make them better. And I think he's found this natural flow within the way that we kind of play in order for him to kind of maximize his own potential as well. I think one of the biggest things is this kid grinds. He's always playing ranked. He's always practicing his mechanics. Like, he's always studying the game. He always wants more. And I think it's one of the most impressive things from someone like him, where he's so young, you know, and he has so much more potential.
Right?
Yeah, and he has one of the most mature mentals I've ever seen in this game. And his ceiling is extremely high. And when it comes to Trex, like, man, I always, you know, whenever I'm talking about this guy, I think one of the biggest things is that his value is all, like, comes in a non-statistical way. Like, you don't see it in the stats with the impact that he does. Like, he makes calls, he makes adjustments, he reads the map, he encourages his teammates. Like, there's so much value to Trex that's beyond just frags and kills and numbers.
He does get them, though.
Oh,
he does get quite a lot, though.
That's the crazy thing about this team is that, like, every single person, not just Dirtge, Les, and Safe, like Kimmy and Trex as well, they're very mechanically strong, and they can get those numbers anytime the rest of the team needs to take a break or something.
Okay,
right?
so you're debunking the rumor that Trex doesn't really speak all that much, because for the longest time we're like, oh, he doesn't seem like the type of player that is vocal. So he actually does make calls and
I think Trex is definitely one where he's very precise with his words. The things that he says has a lot of impact, and I think, you know, he's getting in his flow with the team very well. You know, he's been bonding and meshing with the team on a very high level, to a point where, you know, everyone kind of understands, you know, his impact of his words. And he does talk a lot. I mean, he cracks jokes with me all the time. Like, he's actually, you know, I know he's a stone cold killer, but he has a very big heart for the team and for the boys. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things from him.
Oh, wow. Do you know what? Watching, because even when we watch him, we're like, he wins those. You know, in like a 1v2, 1v1, right? He's so cold and calm. And are you surprised at all to hear this, Sina?
To be honest, yeah.
I love that. So honest.
Yeah, like,
so
I
honest.
think he's looking like you know.
He just plays so cool.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
so hearing like from the coach, like his vocal, actually, it's like surprise for me, to be honest.
I also think it makes a lot of sense as to why they're such good supportive players as well. But that game is done. We can breathe now for a second. Actually, don't breathe, because Mini is back casting later, which means we're going to get 3 maps on the next match. That is going to be between FUT and Team Liquid. Who are you supporting today, CNED?
It's hard to answer it.
It's only because you're wearing like head-to-toe like uniform, and I'm like maybe.
I need to think like for a second.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be FUT. It's gonna be FUT. But this is the thing though, with Vitality, Heretics being in the upper bracket, everybody was like, we saw that coming. Even FUT still being in the top 4, I think everybody unanimously felt like this is a scenario we could foresee. But for Team Liquid, however, do you think at all, Faded, that this was perhaps a bit of a surprise, and maybe this bodes well for the org that they can make a top 4 when it's so competitive?
No, yeah, I think it is. I'm gonna be honest, like with Liquid, the adjustments that they made were pretty strong, and I always feel like the players on Liquid are kind of have that fight back mentality. Even the youngsters on that team, like they never give up, and it's kind of something that I've noticed about them. I mean, for me, like FUT, mechanically strong. They have a really good macro system that's going on for them right now. So it's definitely a good matchup, but. Honestly, in EMEA, like there are a lot of good teams, so it was honestly a toss-up for whoever is going to take that 4 slot, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, Liquid are looking good right now. I know you might be in the corner of FUT, but for you though, CNED, what is it about Liquid you feel like has brought them here? Is it you feel like the veteran players, is it Nats just having a great game, or is it the newer, the Polish players, I would say?
What I will say, like, I think it was. I don't want to be hater, but like it was kind of like something happened in the bracket. They faced in the. I think like for example, like if they like play with FUT before the top 4, I think they will get eliminated. But they played in the top 4. I'm not saying they are a bad team, but like I think they didn't show their potential yet.
Oh, so
I will say.
The ceiling is still higher.
Yes.
The ceiling is very much higher.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Once upon a time for Team Liquid, the ceiling was quite literally winning a trophy, which they did back in 2023. Nats, of course, was on that roster. But since then, they have not attended a single global event. They missed every single one last year. And it does feel like maybe if they're able to take down a team like FUT today, now Fader, you've made it, maybe they could maybe do a number on Team Heretics even tomorrow. It's not super out of the question for Liquid. You agree?
No, agreed. I think it's definitely a toss-up. I mean, I'm not going to discredit Heretics at all. They put up an insane fight today, especially on that Haven match. And FUT, I mean, you saw them and the way they bounced back with their last match too as well. I mean, it's honestly a toss-up between the 3, in my opinion. It's whoever shows up on that day.
Yeah, and I think you guys proved it today as well. It just matters so much how you're feeling on the day. But of course, Liquid, they've lifted a trophy before. And I'm so sorry I'm saying this with you here, CNED, but FUT, they didn't make it to a grand final in EMEA, which feels really weird, right? Because you guys were super consistent last year towards the end of stage 2. Why do you think that the grand final has always been a little bit more difficult for this team?
I think in the last year we were very confident actually in stage 1 after the groups, like we will play like grand final for sure. But I think like some crucial moments put us very like back from the other teams. Like they were, I think, more ready than us in that moment.
Does it have anything to do with constantly changing comps and maybe playing agents that players weren't 100% comfortable with, you feel like? Or is that nothing to do with it?
It depends. Like for some people, it doesn't matter, but some people it might. So yeah, like changing comps can affect teams, like the game by game.
Oh, okay. It didn't affect them last week, though, because we heard it from them that, I think it was Jutta that was telling us that Gaius kind of walked in and said, okay, you're playing Neon today because they've got no Sentinel. Does Gaius do that often? Is this something that the players have to deal with?
Yeah.
Yeah? Have you ever done that, Fader?
No, not at all, actually.
I mean, last year, I remember, I think, like, it didn't happen like this, but last year, I think it was like we changed comp before the game, I remember.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We didn't change any comp like last seconds, but we were changing comps like before the game sometimes. Depends on the enemy team, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, you never know with FUT, I guess, at this point. Maybe we see something different again today. But when it comes to FUT, of course, the last standing roster with a full 5 Turkish players. And I know that Patatek, we're going to see in a second, had some strong words. Actually, let's just see it now. I don't know if it's ready. I hope it is ready. But let's just check out what Patatek had to say when it comes to maybe Polish players supposedly being better than Turkish players. Turkish players? What do you think?
I mean, it's time to prove that Polish players are better in the league.
Woo! All right, so as you guys know, since you've seen it, I feel like you put Turkey on the map here in VCT. Since then, everyone has been very excited about having Turkish players on the roster. You know, a lot of respect, a lot of great Turkish players we've seen. But we do have, actually, for the first time in a while, a lot of Polish players in our league too. And Paddy seems to think that it's time to prove that the Polish players are actually better. Since Fader, you don't have a horse in this race. Do you think that could happen? You think maybe the Polish players have?
I mean, for me, like, it's the Turkish players definitely stick out. I mean, like, look at FUT, like Zeus, like, that guy is insane. I remember, you know, even before and during the off seasons and whatnot, watching this guy play, and you know, I think he's definitely a strong addition to that team. And the youngsters, you know, I mean, honestly, I'm still learning about this region a little bit, so it's taking time to really develop.
But you've heard about the Turkish players.
But the Turkish players are always on the radar. You know, it's one of those things where we've practiced a lot of tier 2 Turkish teams too as well, and they're always frying. They're always mechanically solid. They're always kind of putting us down sometimes, like in certain situations. So for me, I have a lot more experience playing against and watching the Turkish players play and the Turkish scene growing. So definitely have a lot of mad respect. You can't underestimate them ever.
Yeah.
So
I just love how every team has a horror story about a tier 2 Turkish team. Like in scrims, every team is like, there's just one tier 2 Turkish team you cannot beat. And CNET, I know you don't agree with this, but in which case I'm gonna ask you about the 5 Turkish players, because we see teams like Heretics, you know, Fnatic, they have 1 or 2, but having 5 here and sticking with this, do you feel like that this is maybe giving them a bit more of a buff? They can build that chemistry better, having no language barrier as well?
Like the past experience telling me the 5 Turkish player is just very rare situation to be successful, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like being 5 Turkish, I think most of the time, I don't want to say always, but most of the time actually not good, I would say.
But is it different in this case?
Is it different in this case?
Oh,
like
so
there is, as I said, it's most of the time. It's not always. So like this case, like if you manage them to get them together, like being in the same page, being in the disciplined, it will work very well.
It's like a perfect marriage, I feel like, right? Where we've got the perfect players here. Now, Fader, you mentioned Zeus. We do have to talk about him a little bit, because a lot of players are also making their debut, you know, from tier 2, never playing tier 1 before. I know that you said that you had some experience with him, and also you guys played against him on stage. Just how good do you think he is, and how much damage can he do against a team like Team Liquid?
I think he definitely plays with a lot of confidence, and I think like even when we played against him, when we had you know, very overpowering matches against them during our series, you know, he was kind of putting up numbers, and I think, you know, he has the proper support around him. You know, I think the rest of FUT in itself is really strong, but I think this kid has a lot of room to grow, and I think, you know, over the season we're going to see this guy get more confident and more confident, systems being built around him too as well, so that he's going to be in positions to succeed. He's going to, and I think one of the key things is, you know, he's the new kid on the block, and the more that he gains confidence, the more the rest of the team, in my opinion, are going to follow suit. Like, they're going to have a very, very good system and structure behind it with him.
Here's the thing, though. You've been there, CNED. You know, you can have some really nice performances on the stage, but when it comes to a game that matters this much, how important is it to not let the pressure get to you and not to think about, you know, what this means and elimination and masters and all these noise around you?
Like it's a feeling that if you never played in stage, you will not understand. So it's a hard feeling to describe, and I think hard feeling to handle it, to be honest. Because like the not only crowd and the enemy also sometimes like getting pressure, you know, standing up, yelling at you, and you feel like you have to answer it with your game. Because it's if you not answer like in game, you will not do anything, you know. So it's a very hard thing to handle it. But I think, yeah, like it comes with experience. You play more on stage, and like one day you will understand how to handle it.
What about the fans as well? Because obviously the Turkish fans, the FUT fans, they're watching this kid, they're watching this team, and they're probably expecting at least a grand final.
I'm not blaming them. Like with this team, like you have to have like high expectations. and I think they will make it.
Yeah, you think they could do it? Okay. Do you know what? I'm kind of with you because it does feel like FUT are the favorites on paper. But here's the thing with Team Liquid, though. They're adapting. They're going through this tournament Faded where if they don't win on a map or they aren't feeling it, they are changing their comps. We see it on Fracture, we see it on Pearl. Do you like the changes they've made? What do you think about them?
I mean, I think the key one that I noticed was the Fracture comp, right? They were playing, I think, without a duelist initially, and they kind of brought back the duelist, and they're utilizing the Teho breach, from my understanding. I think the comps that they're running are pretty strong, and the way that how quickly they're adapting to these new comps too as well. I think they do have a really good chance, especially on a great fighting chance. I think it's for me. I think they also made a change on Pearl too as well, as I recall. I personally think the Fracture change was a lot better. I think it was a lot more structured for them. But you know, I like the idea of them being able to trust that they can adapt quickly. Because to be honest, like changing comps and learning it that quickly is very, very tough. And having the confidence to be able to play those, especially with teams preparing throughout the full off season with a lot of these other comps too as well, and their staple comps. So making that quick change and quick adjustments, it takes a lot of willpower to do so.
Yeah, probably the confidence in that the comps are working, right? They're winning on it, they've made it to the top 4, and very quickly, CNED, what is one thing that they have to look out for on FUT?
Aim.
Aim! The Turkish aim from the Turkish god himself. Both teams are so close to that lower finals, and Masters Bangkok as well is going to be a hell of an elimination match. Join me and welcome FUT and Team Liquid back onto the stage.
With me.
The lower bracket run is certainly still on for both of these teams. Team Heretics are waiting for one of them in the lower finals tomorrow. You do not want to be eliminated this close to qualification for the first Masters of the year. But let's take a look at the map vetoes here. FUT have just kind of been banning whatever they feel like or their opponent's best map. So, and Liquid just don't play Lotus here. And okay. How do we feel about what is going on with the map vetoes? I feel like today everything I know is out of the window, but both teams seem to be straying a little bit. CNED, I'm going to ask you for some inside information there. Did you expect this split? Was this always the plan?
Like, to be honest, I expected because after Vitality match, I feel like FUT wasn't comfortable.
So it's your fault, Faded.
Oops. Yeah.
So they were comfortable on the bind after Vitality?
Yeah, like I think split is more scary map for FUT, I will say.
Okay.
And I can't blame the also Liquid because of the Pearl ban, because I think FUT is really good on Pearl. Like I like them how they play, but like I think Liquid thinks bind is the FUT's worst second map.
Ah, okay.
So I
second,
think that's right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I get you. Okay, let's talk about that bind very quickly, because obviously, Faded, you have experience, you played against them already. What did you make of their bind last time?
I mean, we shut them down pretty quickly early. No offense to them at all. They're a great team. But I think it'll be good to see kind of what readjustments they'll be able to make on this. I am surprised about the split ban because they have been kind of banning out the enemy team's kind of like strongest map pools. So with that being said, I think like they definitely probably put in a lot of work for their bind to be confident enough to be able to play that out.
Yeah, and they've had a little bit of time as well. Now, looking at this Abyss, you have one team that is running, dedicating themselves, leaning into the Vice stuff, and then another team that is pretty much just doing the bog standard Champions Abyss meta, what DRX was kind of running, and it looks like no one is going to change anything here. What do you guys think? You prefer one comp over the other?
Like I like FUT comp more, to be honest. Not because of I'm a FUT fan, because like I think Vice is really strong on this map. I feel like the wall is like really limiting the like jet dash or Euro. Like Euro is the only counter of the Vice. So when enemy is not playing Euro, I think Vice is a good pick.
Cameron might have a hard time here. What about Liquid's comp? Because at this point, Faded in our region, this almost looks weird. That they're not being weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if Liquid play this smart, they're going to be able to get a lot of information and hopefully be able to deny like the early aggressions, right? Like, I think one of the key things with Euro is on defense is their ability to kind of space and take these areas and take these kind of extreme measures. I think as long as Liquid kind of are tight about how they approach the map and the way that they're kind of spacing out these specific areas, like I have a feeling like they'll get that first pick advantage and they'll be able to snowball from that, right? So as long as FUT is kind of aware and they're playing, you know, smart about what areas they're trying to control, I think FUT will have a chance there. But I think Liquid can actually do something about this.
Yeah, and seeing that out of all of the maps that Krax doesn't play KO and plays the Fade, it is this one. Do you have any inside information on?
To be honest, no.
Is it a Gaius thing, you think?
Like, I think Krax is the talented player to play any initiative. He needs to just put a little bit work and like he will be good in any agent. Yeah. I believe him.
He doesn't play the KO on Abyss, but he plays it on Bind. You know, only FUT, I feel like, is their thing. But you guys have mentioned already this kind of mind game, the push and pull between perhaps the Vice and the Jet. But how about that Astra as well into the Omen? Because it feels like a lot of teams are favoring the Astra more, Faded.
Yeah, I think it's because the way that the map is structured, being able to kind of get those smokes and not only that, but also Astra's other set utils, right? Like I think Omen kind of forces you or allows you to play that kind of trap style and aggression style, whereas like Astra is going to be able to kind of support, you know, different areas of the map a lot quicker and easier than Omen will. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what they do with the Omen as well.
But it's the Kiko Omen. He is, you know, this duelist to control a pipeline. Sina, you've gone through it as well. It doesn't matter what he does in terms of this agent, he can shoot, right? And sometimes, like you said, aim is so important.
Yeah, like I've been through. It was good times, and and I'm not a fan of any agent anymore. No, just kidding. You know, sometimes you have to adapt the team. You know, he also agree with the team. He can play any role, so they put him, and he looks like comfortable. If he's not complaining about this, it's very fine.
I'm glad you mentioned the word comfortable because since we have a bit of a delay right here, I want to throw out a bit of a heavy topic. Where do you stand on playing something, it's comfortable, it's safe, and pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, but it's more meta? Like, what is more important, do you think? What is the bigger win condition here? Yeah, well, both of you. I'll let you start.
I mean, you should go first because you're a player. You've been in that seat, so.
Can you ask again?
So, would you rather go for comfort? You know, Jet on every map, Chamber on every map when you can, or you know, have to go with a meta and have to actually adapt to it?
Like, I don't know how
it's
to.
A big question.
Yeah, like I don't know how to answer it. Yeah. Like, I would like to. Okay, I'm Jet fan and Jet player. So if you ask me, I will go Jet every map because I feel like I can play every map Jet. It's playable, but of course, like every team, every coach every IGL has a different mentality. So you have to find a way to how do you say, adapt.
Yeah.
If Raze is in this map it's getting more value, you have to play it. So you have to find a balance. You have to go out of comfort zone sometimes.
But you believe you can carry on Jet every map?
Yes.
Yes, I also believe. How do you feel about this, Faded, as a coach?
I think you play to the strengths of your players. I mean, I'm very lucky. I think as you see with all the different comps we play on the different maps and the roles that people are playing, I think we have a very deep pool of being able to play multiple agents. I think for us it's more about what do we see as our style and how do we build around it. It's not what the current meta is, because I think especially in EMEA we're seeing so many different comps and metas being explored, but I think it really is you play to the strength of your players, because honestly any quote-unquote comp can work. Like you can have the double initiator, double controller comps, you can have and it's a different style of play, but at the end of the day it's like if you can get your your players comfortable and being in these roles where they feel like they're growing, but also 2, playing comfortably and being able to kind of have a lot of confidence in what they do, then it just makes, in my opinion, the best for the best recipe for success. So
best of both worlds. See,
exactly.
Now it annoys me more that Cracks, this man on your screen, doesn't play KO on this map. He's the best KO player in the goddamn league. Well, let's bring this back here because I believe the players are getting back into the lobby. We're going to be ready in just a moment. Yoru here, you know, it feels like Yoru is such a priority pick on almost every man, not every man, but almost every single one. How valuable is that, having a good Yoru player?
Having a great, honestly, I have one of the best Yoru players in the world, but I think Yoru is obviously definitely really strong across these maps now that people are kind of understanding the style and ways that you can implement it. I think one of the cool things about Yoru is that there's so many different ways you can play it. Like, you can kind of replace it with the old school chamber type idea. You can have, one playing super aggressive and kind of playing in your phase. You can also have the fast rotation style Yorus. There's actually many, many different ways to play Yoru, in my opinion. And it just comes down to how does it fit your team, right? And I think that's one of the most important parts. And for all the maps, I think people are starting to understand the strengths and implementation across these maps. So, yeah.
And CNED, how would you describe Zeus as Yoru here? Because I feel like he's a little bit more of a risk taker.
Yeah, I think he's he will not play operator, of course. So I think playing operator with Yoru, I think is a big plus for me, because you can take any off angle you want and you can just out in a second. With Yoru, when you are using operator, for example, it's not like Jet, you know. You can just overpick and go back. You have to sometimes stay in where you are, and you have to hold that angle. And he's doing with his Vandal. He doesn't need operator, so he's doing with Vandal. If he's killing, that's totally fine.
Well, I wonder if Liquid are going to be able to abuse that. But thank you so much, you two, for joining me here. But it's time to get into game. Of course, we had a bit of a delay. It's Pansy and Mini waiting on the other side.
I feel like I'm getting unreasonable blame. There was absolutely no tech pods. I don't know what you mean, Sue. You just wanted more time on air, and that is obscene from you. However, we brought you back out from your quarantine. You've been allowed back out into the masses. Fingers crossed, you're good to go now. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah?
Feeling good.
Back with the...
Especially after watching that first game. That was beautiful.
We love a quick game, don't we?
Yeah.
It was very nice, Valorant. But it kind of puts a little bit of context now on this one, because if you looked at this on paper, FUT really only lost one game. A respectable loss to Vitality, especially after seeing the form they were in. But how does this now compare to someone like Liquid? Where do we put these two, especially with this veto in mind? Who won this one? Very briefly, because we have an aggressive start that's been tempered.
All good. I think A main control is going to be the name of this game for both teams. But back to your point, I think that FUT are clearly the favorites in this game, to be honest with you. FUT have always been the kind of third team in the EMEA, I'd say, and it looks like the same again potentially. Obviously, we'll see the next couple of games, but that's kind of where I'm putting them right now. Team Liquid have had a very scrappy run, I'd say. It's been very good. They've kind of adapted as they needed to go, and they've had a lot of games, but it has been scrappy.
Yes.
I think the week break will be very interesting to see how these teams have adapted.
All right, and a captain. Gonna be the first to go down here. That's Camo starting things off. That looks like it's really teeing up this pressure point towards A. Spike now getting very invested towards it. And Mr. Fallen can at least catch one and a second on the cross. Surprised Liquid kind of fell foul to that there. Thought that could have been at least kept in mind, but a 4v3. Kamek trying to clear through, does. Takes away Yedajay, and the numbers just starting to dwindle down now to a 3v3.
Yeah, that lurk makes this all winnable now from Kamek. But he is repositioning backwards.
Falling back through, so down to just Cracks here, and he's handled. Liquid with a lovely start. Gonna get the pistol under the belt with Nats, claiming I think 3 of those.
Yeah, but I think that all came down to Kamek's lurk at middle, to be honest with you. I think that being in the 3v4, he gets that kill back. And then the players on site, yeah, beautiful closeout from Nats there.
Okay, well, expectation-wise, if we're looking at Abyss, obviously it is FUT's choice. Do you think this is looking like a 2-0 overall here? Good start on this one? Or do you think with those recent looks from Liquid, right, they look much better overall, comp changes coming in, kind of picking up a little bit better. Do you think we see a little bit more resistance now?
Well, actually... Ooh.
Wow. Oh, it's so funny. I'm just going to start adding a fee to every time there's a tech pause. Sorry, guys. My bad.
Okay, anyway. But the veto, you did mention that, and I didn't address it. I do think that this veto for Team Liquid is very strong.
Okay.
Like, I'd still put FUT in an advantage here, but Liquid decided to float Lotus, which has been their promo ban, in order to ban away Pearl. And to be honest with you, I think that would have been an instant 1-0 to Futbalist on Pearl.
Okay.
And then we got to Abyss, Bind, and Haven. And Liquid haven't looked like slouches on any of these maps so far.
Yep.
They've looked decent on Haven, they've looked good on Bind, and they won Abyss twice before as well. So I don't think that this is like completely out of, you know, character of Liquid make this look close.
Okay, and I think this will really give me some good context of to how much of those recent games really worked for Liquid. How much are we starting to see them now fire on all cylinders? Do they have that potential to then go through to internationals, right? Because this is all good and well, but we are getting so close to that international stage that we do need to start considering, are they a team that can compete with the rest of the world? Looking at Vitality, it feels like the answer is yes, right? They look very, very good, very competitive. Now it's whoever's remaining. Now if you're looking for a safe team to bank on, you're looking at Heretics, right? Previous validity going international. Now between these two teams, obviously just as much of a chance here. Do you see either side having that validity yet that you've seen watching them to be an international challenger? Be harsh.
Do you mean like deep international?
Not necessarily deep. I'd say just a respectable performance.
A respectable performance. Futbolists can always put up a respectable performance at an international. I think for Liquid, we still have question marks even domestically about how far they can go.
Sure.
So I think this is like the first big question mark for Liquid. If they can pass this challenge, then who knows? It's going to be a hell of a lower bracket run, basically.
It would be.
I think for international play right now, like you said, it's Vitality look like deep international team right now.
Absolutely.
I think Heretics, there's a little bit of stumbling, but it's Heretics. And we know how much damage they can do.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's who it kind of falls for. But to keep you up to date, we are going back into games. Hopefully everything is fixed. Thank you for your patience. We always get one and plenty more, probably. But first was for Liquid. So we kind of hold where we are on that. And again, this should be a formality. But we have been seeing a lot of sloppy anti-ecos, right? And I feel I've been very negative about this, but it does frustrate me to absolutely no end to see messy anti-ecos. And I actually kind of like what FUT are trying to do here too.
I think grouping all B main, is the kind of thing that you get messy on Anticos with, but luckily they're going into a kind of weak side here. The flank is going to be everything.
And it's kind of already been seen. Now, do they get to stabilize on the site? Spike's already in. There is one player holding towards that CT side, and it's been cleared up. So kind of using the Bulldogs, keep them nice and far away. That's lovely. That's what I want to see here. Clean, concise work. And in zone flawless. Again, it was just classics, but the amount of times we've seen those rounds going out of hand, really good stuff.
Yeah, they smelled out that mid push, and their reaction was to push deeper into the site. It's a classic protocol that, you know, you can apply to any map.
Jamming actions from back through. Nice little dart that was just sent in, and there it was. That kind of kicked things off. So outside of that, we do now get the buy back in from FUT. No ults to bank on yet. No one's had that big impact themselves or farmed any of it up. I guess must have fallen the closest to from FUT. For the other side, pretty close for Nats. Maybe could come up with something there.
A little bit of a change of approach from both teams from the last game. Heavy mid control for both. Fast push.
Oh yeah, commitment behind this too. Yeah, to Jake to find Kiko. Straight away establishing dominance once these rifles have come out. Kiko, the one to go down, is going to make it a little bit trickier now for Liquid to try and approach these sites. Already trying to facilitate that with the Owl drone, trying to force some of these players deeper towards B and staking some claim. The spike is coming this way as well.
Yeah, Nats knows that in this disadvantaged situation, he's going to have to find something. So Liquid veering towards that B site, but Nat's doing his usual Nat stuff.
Especially with the ult on top, could be really, really nice if he gets that kill. Obviously, it's there to use. Camo gets caught. That's unfortunate, and now the spacing not quite right. The lurk's going to work out. You're going to get at least the information off the back in a quick run on rotation. Can they get there in time? It's down to two, Nats and Padatek. How much more security can Nats bring?
Yeah, even again, now he knows in the disadvantage he needs to do something again to try and even this up, get a positional advantage. The position in events here is quite good.
Couldn't quite make anything of that, though. But he's keeping space, right?
It's a good position.
Hold a good amount of this territory, but once this pressure comes back in from CT, I do start getting worried. Padatek's got to go above here. Can't do it as well. FUT now taking strides back towards the site. It's only on Nats. His lurk was good. The information, great. They got a plant. But for now, it's against 4. Still up towards heaven. Would have to somehow divide and conquer. That's a great start. Spike now starting to tick a little quicker. They got to get a move on here, and it does get a little bit more panicked. It does get slightly more strained when Nats does that. Is he really going to do this right now? They haven't got half yet. Nats trying to toy with the time. And this is damn close, but the defuse is in.
Great attempt by Nats, but I like to cast our mind back a little bit to that Nats initial lurk. And it seemed like Liquid had that B site, and they over-aggressed. They should have let Nats play out that round instead of making the play from the B side, in my opinion. Nats had all the space. He's probably calling his team, just chill out. I've got this. But Camo a bit too aggressive, in my opinion.
And you're right, if it was a little bit, that timing difference would have been marvelous, wouldn't it? See if he could get that touch of impact towards A, but still. They can come back into this with the Outlaw in, and looking at the armor, there's a couple of players that could be punished from it. Aggressive start.
Big aggression from FUT. This is something we saw a lot in their last game.
They just walked mid last round. They really like to establish their authority across the map.
But it's a nice idea because they have the Yoru TP ready on the B side of the map. They have the Vice there to delay as much as they can. So it's not like Team Liquid can accelerate towards that B side too much.
If anything, it's going to have to really slow down Team Liquid to go through these very meticulous defaults. Make sure that no one's pushed up anywhere. Make sure you have to use util to re-clear again. Chip away at some of that util to try and go back for those site hits.
Like even already, they haven't got a camera, a drone, or a recon. So that's a lot of util that Liquid don't have coming into this A site.
Are they going back? It's lovely. Good late round info, about 45 seconds. Sensing that presence towards A, the knife. I don't know if it caught one or maybe two, if any at all. So it is focused towards this A side take. Camo's going to go in first, looking for that second string now, looking for the layers here. And a captain's gone down, and Liquid clean out. How the heck have they done that so smoothly?
Yeah, despite the information game being won there from FUT, with the 3A, not being able to hold that at all.
Sorry about the screens. Yeah, tech pause perhaps, who knows? Zeus and Yenajay, 2v5. And it is Zeus to take down Camo, but this is a really long way back in. Still 4 more players to try and disrupt, and I don't know if they can get to any of that sort of back line.
It's going to be down to spams. Spams is enough.
Starting to look, was it? I swear it was like Fnatic Sentinels in one of the internationals where it was horrific. Yeah.
Opening game.
Yeah. Are we getting doubled right now? Bear with us, folks. If we do get an update, I'll let you know what's going on. I don't know if you guys can see it at home, but we can certainly see it in the venue. So fingers crossed, it will dissipate. You know, we love internet problems.
We love you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw the Fade value coming in a little bit there with the kind of A main re-information. The problem is that I have with the Fade though is that next layer of trying to hold that A site seems a bit hard. They couldn't even hold it with the 3, so that would be my criticism of the Fade in general. But
I mean, you didn't like the Fade particularly, did you? Well,
I don't like Fade with Sova.
With the Sova, yeah.
I mean, I prefer Sova.
Okay.
So.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm looking across. It does look like the admin is over towards the FUT side, so we'll try and find out what's going on. But clearly there are some issues today, so get comfortable. So how's the time off been, mate?
It's been so boring.
Really?
Honestly.
It's crazy you're calling Sliggy's stream boring. I saw you in there a lot. Oh, that's horrible.
I've been watching Boaster's stream.
You've been in the Boaster stream?
Yeah, the Boaster stream.
Really?
I don't know if he's watching now, but
probably not.
Probably not. No.
I'm slowly converting over to an Ardis watcher.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, it's bringing out the worst in me. It's good. It's good.
Maybe I have to.
You should dabble. You should like just like on the sly. You know what I mean? You don't want to be too proud of it yet, but you got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Once again, no updates so far. So fingers crossed we do get an idea of what's.
To be fair, the moment he joined Vitality, they looked phenomenal. So it's got to be Ardis, right?
Are you flaming Ardis?
What? I was giving him. What? How did you
look? I
said he joined Vitality as a content creator, and now they won every single game.
Oh, so it's him.
It's just the Ardis effect. He's got aura.
He does have aura. That is actually very true. I do miss players who give a bit of banter. You know what I mean? I think everyone's a bit too nice these days. It's boring.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to become the villain, Minnie. This is it. This is your new
just do it
job.
from the caster booth. Have all the players hate me.
Yes. Yeah.
They'll be calling me out from the stage.
You reckon? Just
Yeah.
like standing up, giving it. I'm down for that. Once again, no updates for you guys. We just love the color red. You know, just good times all around. You know what? I'm so glad the first game was just a nice, quick game. Only one tech timeout, and they were straight through.
Yeah, they left all the techs for us.
Yeah, that's super sweet of them. First game back. Let's throw Mini under the bus.
I have been a curse, haven't I?
I wasn't
every
going to
day
say it.
needs
I
to be
really
rough.
wasn't going to say it because it has been brutal.
Yeah.
We've had 3 mappers, OTs,
Tech
all of
pauses.
that. Yeah, tech pauses. Well, hey, maybe the analyst desk will be ready soon. Who knows? So at this point, I'm going to I look. It's not even gone midnight yet. It is staying with us, so I'm going to start reading chat. So I'm being poorly behaved because, well, yeah, what else is there to do?
Which chat are you?
I go for slickies.
Okay.
I do see some slugs in the audience as well.
That is
some
the
really well
safest
made
of the
signs.
chats.
Some really well made signs. So if we can find them, 10 out of 10. Let's have a look. This pansy lady hates us. Crazy. His mods. Zilv is in Sliggy's chat. Isn't he meant to be
Observer
working?
Sylv.
Yeah, Zilv, is this your? I like the Abyss full sign, but where's the sluggy one? So find the slug one. Okay. There was a tech.
There is a tech
too.
pause
Yeah,
down
no,
there.
maybe that's you guys. Okay, hold on. First players EMEA. Who we got? I'm looking. We need a little zoom.
I'm here for the QB.
Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh.
Wait, that's common.
Rough.
That's the assistant coach for Koi, flaming his own team from the crowd.
Okay, a little bit of a Noah. Alright. I see a Nat sign. Solid. Oh, the liquidation. You guys are brutal. Okay. What else do we have? Some lock-in signs. Pansy, if you're real, say the word pretzel. There you go. I read that without even thinking. Someone could have absolutely done
Yeah, they could have had.
Well, that's a really good sign. Look at that one. I like that.
What's it got? Candles. What?
Candles? I don't know.
What am I seeing there? There's
Doesn't-
candles.
It's really hard to see. All right. I do like the sign though. We were told 2 minutes. It feels like it's longer than 2 minutes. Let's go MEA. Road to Bangkok. Like that. Nice. Came here for 5 maps. Nice. Good. Like the update. Nice work. Heretics. Okay. Nice. I'm not reading out sub to people. Yeah. Little wingman. Good. People, can you draw? Because you're meant to be creative.
I was a graphic designer, but I cannot
Yeah.
draw. No, not really.
You almost swore then. It felt like you.
I was gonna
trailing.
swear,
Yeah.
It was a. Yep.
So you can't draw.
No.
So if
not
I got
really.
you like some crayons or something.
Nah, not really.
Did you
If you
come
give
up-
me time, I could do
like,
something.
How much time? Could you draw Wingman?
It's like a cute little graphic-y thing, maybe.
What do you mean a graphic-y thing? What does that mean?
Not like a real drawing.
Well, if you could get to work on that, that'd be great. Well, apparently, we might be going into games soon. It might be a lie. I've been hurt in the past. My faith is shook. Little Team Liquid signs. Very nice. Hey, look, you guys have been creative. Way to go, audience. You've kept us safe here. Kakuka, come in.
Why is Kukuka here?
Because at this point, we might need her. Bea, how you doing?
We just co-streaming now.
Apparently we're going back in at some point. We might just be co-streamers. I'll put the mic on once you put it on there. I don't know if it's even working. We'll find out. Let's see. Ah, she's on. At least you're going out to the audience. Yeah. Well, I can't hear you, but the audience can. So let me see if I can fix
You
that.
try casting.
You're caster 1. We're gonna do this because they said ready checks were happening. Don't believe them for a second. Panini, we love you. I love you too. I need love desperately. How was it casting with Mitch? You can't hear me. Okay, well, we can maybe fix that. Hello. Can you hear me now? There you are. Apparently we are going back into games soon. Just so you know, thank you for your patience. We have just been signed to like bring everyone together. I know, the second you turn up, you fix it. Bea, thank you so
I'm
much.
cursed.
Yeah, thank you,
Kukuka's
Bea.
Anti-curse.
Yeah, literally, you had to bring her up here to save us. Appreciate you. Have a lovely day. But we're back underway. So if you're just tuning in, you've missed very little. 3-1. And really, for FUT, we are down to classics. That's lovely from Yetta J, though. Gonna catch off Camo. Now, is there any sort of mayhem to be caused? No. Kamek and Kiko not allowing it. No fun to be had here. No dangerous anti-ecos. A sensible
Yeah,
round.
usually with the anti-ecos you expect to slow around, trying to feel out where the stacks are. Liquid's new approach is just rush B, which If it works, but...
We've seen a lot of these Just Rush X site.
Yeah.
Love Abyss. So much variety, don't you find? You know?
Yeah, that B site is a nightmare.
Yeah. Imagine if Icebox. Just one site. There's no turning it down, Mini.
What's that?
It's just loud. It's just going to be loud the whole time.
It is
Yep.
loud.
And luckily, this isn't a tech timeout. This is actually just a FUT timeout.
This is a guy's timeout.
Yes. So, you know, you want to get a grip back onto the game. It's been
Interesting to see what the adjustment here is. We've seen mostly aggression early on. It was something that they did quite a lot in their previous game. Fighting for A main was something that they like to do. It'll be interesting to see if they just go back to a default kind of style. I can see on my, well, you can see on your screens too, Zeus is picking up the op here. Something that we even seen and noted that's not, you know, it's traditional for Zeus, but on that Euro on this map, I think it's a necessity if you want to put up numbers on defense. So I imagine the call is going to be around that. On the Team Liquid side though, the KO and Sova ult mean that it's going to be quite a tough round for FUT to win here. Usually in these kind of rounds, if you just get rid of these kind of big ults, that's a positive, but there's not that many rounds to play with here for FUT, so they're going to need to do quite a lot to get this round.
Yeah, so 3 ults, Camo and Padatek all have theirs ready for this round. Of course, Zeus with his, but...
And you can see one little detail here is that FUT have separated out their Thorns, one on the B side of the map and one on the A side of the map. There's quite a nice like anti-KO ult kind of idea.
Kiko just getting armed from that. Down to 47, takes a bit of a graze. But that's the operator noted really early into a round. So how do you adjust around that? Is it now just going back towards a more standardized sight hit, or is that an expected look?
I think just grouping up towards a sight hit, avoiding the AWP is good, but the problem is the Yoru can TP. Luckily, it has just expired, so Zeus isn't going to be here on the B site for this hit.
And they've timed it just about right here. Camo trying to take the wider route here. We know that a captain's on site, but knives now aside, Camo has to try and make progress. Now we've got rotations. Now there's players on this site. It's going to get a little bit more brawly. This is where it gets a bit more contested. But the plant should be secure unless they try and flood at that exact timing. Kiko's trying to keep a little watch on that. Backs away now.
A very hesitant approach from Team Liquid, but it's done the job. They've got the post plant. They have this Sova ult in the post. I don't want to see Kamek take any more jewels there.
Doesn't need to. Needs to fall away from that. It is keeping Yellowjay's eyes trained towards it, but the site is now getting cleared out. We're having ults upon ults here. Kamek has invested it
Early.
very early. I feel like that was a little bit too early, but there is now Yellowjay's position. Stunning from Yellowjay, leaving Kamek now in a 1v5, and the spike's being diffused. This is just looking unwinnable. There's so many bodies. He's doing great damage, but he can't get there in time. He has to accept the outcome of this as FUT make it count with what they had.
Yeah, I think Liquid made some mistakes with their ult usage there. They got the B site relatively free and then used the KO afterwards, which didn't actually seem to do much in my opinion. And then Kamek Sova ult, he used it in a way that's like Liquid needs to be aggressive with it, but they're already off the site. So at that point, just use it for delay on the spike. So I think a little bit of mistakes from Liquid. Great round from Yellowjay though, clearing out that mid and being a good presence on that flank.
And Yellowjay, it is interesting watching him in the last couple of games. Certainly much quieter, not being that same sort of stage presence that we've known him for too, but as a beginning, it looks like rinse and repeat. Have you ever seen the B site, Mini? Going back.
But this time, FUT have a setup like a retake setup, which is very uncommon for FUT.
Here.
They've got a
Yellowjay just unwilling to fall back from that. I feel like he could have maybe slipped off from it a bit, but they still wanted to chip away here. Posturing for this retake and then playing like they want to hold the site has left it in a little bit of an unpredictable predicament. But down to a 3v3, this is where it gets awkward. You've got Kiko tipping the scales in their favor by pushing up a little bit deeper, allowing now for the plant to come in a bit more securely.
Yeah, the open plant here is going to be a nightmare for them to deal with as well, for FUT.
I don't know how they're meant to get back into it. And I'm looking at where Nats is going too. It feels like he is the full stop to the sentence. If it even gets close, Kiko not letting it happen. Mr. Fallen, last one alive in a 1v3, and we feel that eventual death is coming closer in the form of Nats. Nice towards Padatek, but zero idea about Nats. Now, the plant isn't directly for him, but with his routing towards heaven, he should be fine, and that's how he gets the job done. Liquid doing well here.
Yeah, Liquid are doing well, but I don't want to be the negative shadow over everything. But FUT Ballista, again, they're playing a setup that I quite like, a kind of retake style, a kind of, you know, it's the kind of thing you're going to see from those top teams, the Sentinels and Fnatics in the past.
Yep.
But the retake style isn't FUT's bread and butter. They're not a team that I consider. They're more I want to hold every single side. So the execution on that retake setup was quite poor, in my opinion. J has a full retake setup. He has the ult ready to use on the retake. But getting caught before being able to do anything is not a good look.
It's a bit worrying to see that as well. If it's something you've tried to like create a difference with, to see it falling so short. And
I like this call from Liquid. Nice little fake towards B. All this pressure on B, all the winning on B. A simple little fake, and now they've got all the control in the middle of the map and ready for an A split here.
they still have to go through all the Vice utility, but I think FUT realized, oh, that's nice from Zeus. Quick towards Kamek. That mid pressure is now removed from the equation, but we are looking towards this A site here. Can they secure it and can they maintain it? We have a lot of ults for a retake too, a very strong one. So that does add a problem to this. Do they try and stand and fight on the site then? Try and remove that threat? It looks like that was the case for now. Camo, I mean, that is not a bad weapon to be having here, but he's having literally everything thrown at him. He couldn't see a bit of it. Zeus gets to clean him out, but by now the guns are back in play. Good positioning, still takes damage. Zeus doing as much as he can, and that is a fantastic retake from FUT.
I do love the call from Liquid, though, to be honest. Using the fact that in this game they have shown so much good presence towards B, using the little silver drone to just fake it out, gave them all that space on A. Unfortunately, though, FUT playing for the retake this time appropriately with these big ults, and it looks way too easy in my opinion. Nothing big noteworthy here.
I'd say
in terms of ults or ops.
Because how many just got used? Was it 3, I think? So it was the Divide, Nightfall, and then Yena Jays as well, right? Ult. Oh, and you're right. So this is a lot utilized there for FUT. They burnt through a great deal of it. So you're looking at the cycle of things. Panatek's only 2 away.
Another nice call from Liquid as well, knowing that the vents felt weak last round, and now just using that again. They're confident that they only lost that round because of the ults.
It's a good mentality to potentially have if they do get it right. And right now, they're already setting them up for success. A good scan towards the back of the side. Camo's getting curious, and it's worked. You can see the ideas. You can see it in motion, and it is rewarded and then some. Zeus is still such a sharp shooter, though. Has he got another hit? No. Kiko unwilling to take any steps away from the site. They still want to control this. So Mr. Fallen and Yena is not even entertaining this idea.
No, this is a save. They don't have the economy to play with here too much. But yeah, I've got to highlight Nats' IGLing here is looking very nice. I like the fact that he's using the kind of just simple reads, like knowing how strong they have been on B, abusing that, and then seeing how weak it looked towards that A side of the map with the A split the last round. Like, this looks very mature and experienced.
And I feel like that's what we want to see from someone like Nats. And it's what you want to be seeing from Liquid if you want to see them go further in this tournament. These sort of good calls, these really good ideas in these sort of games, controlling the tempo and applying that mentality. So far, so good. So there's still a buy here for FUT, and it was the right call. You said it. They felt maybe for Liquid, hey, we can run this again, right? The difference makers were the ults. And I feel that they were correct in that assessment.
And I think the game's now wide open for Liquid to play off of both ideas. They know that B's working, and they know that the A splits are working. Now is another layer for Nats to work with.
See what he does this time around. Kind of a 1-3-1 to begin with here. We've seen them pressure through that kind of vent dive pretty early on. This time looking to get very active towards middle, and Zeus has to take the emergency exit.
Yeah, never seen that before. The recon behind the smoke there to try and catch potential Oppa.
But it's such a hard choke point to break here, and there's no subtlety to this mid presence, but they do have numbers. So what's the plan trying to get into this?
Put in a good spot here.
Yeah, okay, run and gun, and he gets the job done. Liquid just barreling straight through. I thought that crossfire would have held. So now it's down to Yena trying to find a corner to play from, and he can't find any security. Liquid, everything is working for them.
Yeah, well, that tiny little choke point there is usually, if you're going to play defensive and let them through and you kind of have a little 1-2 crossfire, is usually the way to win that. I think that maybe micro-wise we could be a little bit critical that the player on Heather didn't make enough pressure. But honestly, just fantastic trades from Liquid, entries from Liquid.
Such an impressive display from Liquid, and I was ready to be worried about this. This is FUT's choice too. This is their map.
Yeah, I mean, I said the veto was decent for Liquid. FUT on the last time they played Abyss, it was against Fnatic, and they didn't look great on defense. They won 5 rounds, 2 of them being from the pistol, and 3 being from Heroics, 2 being from Heroics from Zeus. So I don't think this defense has looked stable for them at all in either game.
And Yedajay looks so frustrated too. Looking at the team just visually, they don't look like they're in it yet. And okay, yeah, Liquid are on the attacking side, but you've got to see how they're playing out these rounds, how they're dictating the pace. And it's a gamble stack from FUT.
Yeah, FUT knowing that the anti-eco from Liquid has been Rush B, and Liquid smart enough now to not Rush B.
Yeah, and I love that Nats is positioned here. Seems very aware of the potential. Does he get overrun though? He's got to be careful. They're on the way. He's trying to buy as much time as he can, be as slippery as possible. Lovely work. Call in the cavalry. Kamek's here. But there's a lot of bodies on the other side. Kamek's going farming. And in all the meanwhile, we are seeing the spike heading over towards the A side. There is still a player there in the form of Mr. Fallen. Kamek might go down. Oh, it's messy. But it's Mr. Fallen. I told you, he's still on A. He was fighting for the spike, and now suddenly this becomes... Oh, God, Kamek. Oh, that was a jewel and a half.
I want to see how Fallen's... What has he done? He jumped out heaven?
Must have done. Must have done. And just caught them on the
One
path.
share of 2 people?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to get that replay there, but an 8-3. There's Kamek putting up the best defense he could, right? And this is it. Straight out the smoke.
Oh, it was.
Oh, that's nice.
Spike down A. One
Oh, you can see the caution coming out from Kiko as well. They're like, if I go down, this actually might be screwed. So 8-3, we go back in. They managed to weather the storm, still in a very positive scoreline, and I'm hearing this right off the rip.
Yeah, I was about to note that the ults have cycled back for Liquid again. Even Little Omen ult idea here from Kiko.
Yeah.
There is a timer on this though.
Flash too. Look at the positioning. Super aware. FUT were never going to fall for that, but they have drawn the bodies away now. Crack's the only one close. You got Zeus trying to watch the cross, and he makes a damn good go of it. Taking away Nats. Camo's fallen. It's all on Kamek now in a 1v3. This could be a nice little bit of a buffer coming in for FUT. Getting 4 rounds could be huge. Kamek would love to deny. He cannot. Yedajay there to put him up to 4 to keep the scoreline within touching distance.
Yeah, 5 was enough for FUT against Fnatic, and 4 could be okay here. It's not ideal, but on Abyss, such an attack-sided map.
We'll leave it there. Let's find out if it's enough going into that second half. Only 4 rounds. Can they still do it? Can they bring the pressure towards Team Liquid? Rounds. Is it enough in your mind? What did we take away from how FUT looked on the first half at least? Do you think there was enough there to to get you confident for this second half? Or are you seeing it in, you know, two very divided sides of the game?
I thought that, like I said, the last time they played this map, they relied on Zeus's heroics on the defense a lot. And then on the attack side, looking at the prep that I've looked at from both these teams, FUT were abusing B versus Fnatic. But Liquid, when I looked at their defense, they had good B holds. So it's not going to be as easy as in the Fnatic game. So I'm a little bit worried for FUT here.
Okay. Well, let's keep that in mind as we work through this game, because of course now Liquid on the defending side. Any ideas for themselves? Already Yetherjay trying to send an audio prompt here to try and keep that question mark towards the middle of the map.
Question marking like an A split, hoping to keep only 2 or 1 towards the B side of the map. And it has worked mostly.
Mr. Fallen's there. He has been spotted out. Nat's very aware. The utility getting cleared. It looks simplistic in approach, and Nats is willing to trade out his life for it. Does go down, but now Camo's arrived. He was playing middle before. It's not a far run, but that's a shot from Camo. And this looks like it's wrapped up. Camo is putting on an absolute clinic right now. His confidence may be a little over the top, but he fancied a go at it, leaving just Yetherjay alive on 20 HP.
Yeah, the spike down is down in an awful position as well. Even if he looks for this mid lurk here, the spike is just so far away. He does have time, though.
I like what he's doing. You've got to try and make a play from this. You just go up that standard way trying to retrieve the spike, as you'd imagine. It was never going to work out. So I like the creativity and at least maybe an approach like that. It doesn't work out in the end. It's fine. Liquid, I've got to say, Kamik having a belter. Camo as well.
Yep.
Lovely from him in that round.
Yeah, that's key. If you want to hold that B site, you have to get the floods in. And Liquid were quick enough with Camo flooding in from heaven to have 3 towards that side of the map. So a nice start from Liquid. I think that pistol was almost a must-have for FUT there.
Feels like it could have been the gateway, right? If FUT gets that, okay, we get, you know, close up the scoreline a bit, but now you're arguing that you'd want to see almost an error from Liquid to allow FUT the chance back in. But we've been talking about clean anti-ecos. Let's see if Liquid can do a bit of that. We've seen them before, and they question marks. This time, actually following through on that audio cue from the previous. Out of Captain not being subtle, and Kamik's got to be careful. Only 47 HP, time to fall away. Does want to give up his life. That Bulldog's precious, and Krax is going to pry it out of his cold, dead hands. Pantech now under a little bit of threat here. Got to be cautious as well. They are on the other side. He could go down. That was a bold approach, and now there's recovered weaponry for Out of Captain, but he's still up against it. A 1v3 is so difficult. Has he got a corner? No. Kiko, hyper aware. I felt that was a little bit precarious though there, Mini.
I think those are the kind of rounds where, if you're looking, we're close to international play now.
Yes.
And those are the type of rounds where you can be punished by big teams. Like, of course, they win the rounds, they survive with 3 people. But we need to be cautious.
I think the
unnecessary risks.
Yeah, the level of expectation now rises, and the level of criticism comes with that too, because it won't be your, you know, FUT on the other side. It might be a Sentinels, or it might be a G2. It could be a, you know, or a Vitality. You don't want to let that happen. This is a very different lens we now look at the game with. So coming into the bonus, it is very, restrained. They haven't overly invested here for Liquid at all.
No, but a nice, maybe a paranoia play. Is this? No.
Someone's got to set up Camo here. It's just the dart on the reveal that does well, but it's a 1-for-1 trade out. Is that valuable enough?
It's a bonus round. There's only so much you can do. It is a bit of a common play, so I'm surprised that FUT even get caught out by it. But I thought there was going to be a layer with Kiko was on A heaven there. It looked like he had a paranoia already, maybe, which would have been cool, but didn't get to see it.
What does FUT do? They're down on Krax. Luckily, I guess they do have a Sova, so they still have some way to break into the sites.
If Liquid's done their prep, they should know that FUT leaned heavy towards this B side of the map against Fnatic.
It's Nats who's there, but he's going to be put into a corner. Does get away with his life, so keeps himself very much alive and breathing. You're looking at Patatek on this side too, but only down to that Ghost. So again, you are seeing a vast overwhelm here when you're looking at the weaponry that FUT have into the post plant. I want to see them keep this super clean for FUT now. Find some stability here. The paranoia's gone in. It's not found particularly anything. They've cleared that close part of the site. Now they've got to start to work up. Nats, I don't know if he noted the player by the pillar, but Zeus still gets some freedom here. Yeah, FUT, keep them very much at arm's length, and this is great. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. 4 standing. Ult there now for Yetherjay as well, and they're back at least into the game.
Yeah, keeping 4 there is very good for the economy for FUT. They need to get the momentum rolling with the economy. Liquid, they had a good idea at the start of the round. I mean, they didn't have the guns to really retake, so not too much criticism on that side.
So we have Yellow J with the ult on one side, and we do have the knives to camo.
We have a massive A main kind of idea here from Team Liquid. Maybe a push or a trap?
Is that 4 players? It is. Okay, camo going around. Oh, okay. That was so sick. It's only going to get you 1, but I love the concept. Kiko didn't want to give up that space either. The Prowler had to be committed to force him away. Now down to a 4v4.
Yeah, the creativity, usually you just see it on the bonus round, then you can see a more standard round, but it's very interesting that Liquid are just pulling out the creativity early. It'd be interesting to see if that's like a lack of trust on their kind of default style, but if you're going to pull them out, pull them out there, I'd say. They've always got their strong default to go back to.
This will be the indicator of mid-presence now. Nats will have to call for help. So he's going to see that. He's still got the wire in middle. Oh, he's been outdone. Zeus there does best him, so that's the gates open. Now, FUT obviously doesn't know fully how much they've gathered here, but it is a free site. So Kamek, Patatek, Kiko have to go back in. Oh, Kamek! Quick as lightning on that one. And a captain goes down. Okay, 3v3, not so impossible. So you look at the utility now. C's there for cracks. You got Mr. Fallen with the reveal and a flash for Zeus. But that's about it. And the timing for Kamek, unbelievable. Cracks is out of there. Suddenly, it's flipped on its head a little bit now. Liquid need to start working back towards the site itself, though. Zeus is still guarding this with his life. Flash ready. Time ticking. Gotta get a move on here. They found one. Zeus doing so well here. Mr. Fallen wants to catch that cross, but he can't. He has to keep faith. The Zeus can still do damage. Out of bullets. Oh, and Kamek! How the hell did Patatek at the same time? Have they got this? I don't think they do. No, they don't. That was so damn close.
Yeah, FUT made that unnecessarily close, in my opinion. Just a little tiny mistakes from a couple of players there. I do have to question, I don't want to be like results orientated, but like the kind of, I thought Liquid's default setups when I watched them last worked quite well into the way that FUT were approaching the map. And to pull out another kind of big creative idea and it fall flat, it's kind of closing that gap in a little bit.
I really like your point, but if Durka did it, you'd have loved it.
It's true. It is true. Yeah, but Durka would have got 5.
That's true.
So
yeah, no, I guess.
You got to be hindsighty as a coach sometimes.
Hindsight,
you know.
Harry, got it.
Yeah.
But we do have a Liquid timeout, so I think maybe they want to get a grip back into the game, right? Because yes, they've been quite creative. Yes, they picked up the pistol, but since we got into the buys, it's getting harder and harder. We're starting to see Zeus get more active. We're starting to see these ults come online together too. They can have the big snowball round soon. Liquid can't afford to let too much space back in here. FUT are a very dangerous team. You'd say that they're probably favored in this matchup overall, but coming in now, do you think Liquid just go back to kind of the more standard approaches? Do you think they were overdoing it a little bit?
Yes, but now that they've kind of let go of those early rounds, like you said, the ults are coming in for FUT now, so it's not just a game of, oh, let's play kind of a standard style. It's how do we deal with these power ults coming in for FUT? So it's, I expect to see something to deal with these ults first, and then when they're kind of gone, hopefully some kind of indication in the timeout as to how we want to play after the ults are off the table.
Okay, so we have the danger duo being Kamek and Camo. The rest on pistols. Sheriff's out for Kiko and Patatek, and then just the Ghost for Nats. Seeing Patatek. Bit of information towards Zeus, but the vast majority going towards B.
Yeah, I think in this kind of buy, if Liquid can get the ults out of FUT here, it will be a success.
Oh, that'd be a huge win. And they're going to get at least one. So Zeus investing, and he is going to, I imagine he'll see quite a lot. He has at least seen Camo. He hasn't seen the others. Hold on, is he going to be too confident for this? He might make a mistake. He has! He fell for only seeing one, and suddenly, surprise, there's a whole lot more. Liquid had bodies on this site, and now it's a 4v3. Make it a 4v2. This is going wrong Cracks and Mr. Fallen left in no man's land. They're slowly being surrounded, and they don't have an easy bit of security on the site. Camo is still lingering around here. He might just get the timing right too. Okay, Mr. Fallen at least gets sight. Now, you still have Kiko there. Oh yeah, the timing for Kamek. That was a disaster. A little bit of misinformation goes a whole long way.
Yeah, it's almost like it was almost like tailor-made to beat Zeus's Euro. I don't think that was on purpose at all.
That would be so smart
but
if it
like
was, but
the timing of the Euro coming down on the moment that he doesn't catch 3 players. That's a rough one for FUT to lose. Liquid winning on a 2 Vandal round.
you're going to feel like now, financially, it's going to be 12. So they're going to have to, they will get all these ults coming in pretty soon, barring Zeus's, obviously. But that's now going to be up against 12 rounds, so it has to be flawless all the way back in. Bloody hell.
I'll be honest, I think if I'm FUT, I'd probably just buy up more here and just try and use the ults and get momentum back. We don't have rounds to play with.
And 12, they don't have VCT to play with either. Already Pitatech has done some good damage, but he does get traded out on that. Maybe a recoverable weapon. Ult going to come in on top. They do want to commit behind this one, but Camo seems unaffected. Seems unfazed by it. And maybe he should have been. Because Zeus makes it towards the back of the side. Kiko gets the trade, but it's getting messy. All of these ults now coming out into this 2v3. They're still doable, but Nat's the last man alive. No flank coming in, and maybe FUT have done enough here. They needed a miracle round, and it's cost them a whole lot. It might just be enough. Let's see what Nats can do. Having to respect the util.
Spike
Plants
planted.
in. Cracks and Mr. Fallen on site without a captain. All 3 players on site. That's a player spotted. Doesn't pull the trigger. So he knows about Cracks, and he's ready. Takes him away. 2 more to find, expecting a deeper post-plant position, but no, we know where they are. But Nats being toyed with around the world they go. He's looking for him, and no one's checking, so he's got a good idea. Oh, and he's got more than a good idea. He's got 2 of the kills there as well. Nats breaking their heart regardless, taking away all the util, taking away all the ults, and then pulling off the Red Bull clutch to get to 12.
Every single time we've seen him in that position today, last alive, I've like held my breath every single time.
It always feels like
it always just feels like it's so winnable for him.
God.
I mean, that's probably the nail in the coffin, really. 12-6, 6 rounds to go, and then ults coming up for Liquid.
No hard feeling.
Watch this one time and time again, couldn't you? Lovely.
I mean, I do prefer the coach cam when they're stressed, but it is kind of cute to watch them like happy.
Here.
Fair enough, yeah. I also enjoy Misery more. Preemptive on that. Misses, I think. So in a little bit of a pickle here. Still sticking around though. And FUT looking like they're still running this B hit time and time again. This time VCT lives. Takes away Pitatech, but it pulls the trigger from Kamek. VCT still bulldozering through the site. I think Liquid kind of taking the foot off the gas for a second here, and FUT are absolutely firing up now. Divide goes in on top. They want this one secured. There can't be mistakes anymore. Why do I still get worried with this? VCT holding the wall. Look at Kiko's position. There's a chance for it. They're pinging it out. They've got to be aware. This paranoia is going to be perfect, but he's made a go of it, and he still gets value. So it's on Kamek in a 1v4, looking improbable, near on impossible. So FUT could be allowed to be alive with 4 here. A valuable round getting up to 7.
Yeah, I'm surprised Liquid didn't go for more kind of an economic damage kind of approach there. Like the 3v5, the money's not looking incredible for Liquid, the money looking horrible for FUT, so I would have preferred for them to just go for like an economic, you know, kill some people.
Yeah.
I think they're, like Liquid looked, this is a kind of 12-6 round, I call it. Like, they're trying to hold B versus the Vice ult. It didn't look like they were kind of prepared to kind of deal with the Vice ult. Stuck on site with rubbish guns.
There he is.
I think, yeah. Just some lapses in discipline sometimes from Liquid. I mean, it's been a very good game from them so far, but those tiny things,
they make big
those
differences.
details do matter.
They really do. And again, we're talking about higher end opponents now. This is, you know, the end of Kickoff, really. We're getting towards that pointy end. The real challenges are here, so make sure they tighten every part of this up. Because it's given a chance to FUT, who are on a better buy. But they are backs to the wall now, creeping up middle. Nat, he knows about a little bit of it, decides not to pull the trigger though.
It's interesting, they've used this cam more as like a game plan kind of idea. They didn't show it last time. I think it's kind of one of those interesting things where like a Cypher allows you to do that kind of thing. If you hide a cam somewhere. So I quite like the approach from Liquid, having a set kind of game plan for this one.
So they've opted to give up middle. But it does put a lot of pressure on CT. It's so available. Nats now can get pinched here. And the timing just perfect for FUT and awful for Liquid in that regard. So they've had to evacuate site. So that's very much ready and available for FUT to get the plant in finally. Pivoting around here. 4-man retake. They do have Palatex ult as well.
They don't have economy though, so big decision to be made here. 4v5 retake or save?
Do they get a quick kill? They've got a lot of util to play with. Jay looks lethal up there. Okay, this might be the go signal. And the only one that can save them is Yedajay now for FUT. He has everything. Oh, Panatek turns around with a big old backhand, leaving just Mr. Fallen and a captain alive. And that pressure is mounting. The paranoia removes the vision. They've got to try and pull him back. The defuse is happening. Nothing is stopping it. Nobody stopped the defuse. And that's 13 for Liquid. Map 1 goes their way.
Yeah, FUT's map pick as well. It's not looking like a great sign for FUT. And this veto, the next two maps are maps that I thought Liquid looked good on in their previous games.
That's the worry for any of the FUT fans out there. Can they run this back uphill? We'll find out after the break.
Hey, Gio. I'm so good at this game.
Yo, my god.
Hey, Daddy. Bisa ASMR here and there.
Red Bull gives you wings.